Guys, I'm going to give you 5 tips on how to feed your fish. First of all, you need to know what kind of fish you have, whether it's mostly active during nighttime like a catfish or knifefish, or is it mostly active during the day, which most fish are, like barbs, cichlids, etc. Now, if your fish is mostly active at night, being a catfish, for example, you would have to give it sinking pellets at night. That way food gets to them, and that way no other fish eat their food. Second tip is temperature. Temperature takes a big role on a fish's metabolism. For example, discus should be fed about 5 times a day because they're kept at high temperatures at like 85, and their metabolism is a lot higher. While other fish, more tropical fish like barbs, mollies, etc., that are kept at around 78, should be fed around 2 times a day or 1 time a day, depending on how much you're feeding. The ultimate thing to do when feeding, if you're trying to go for growth, is feeding multiple times a day in small quantities. However, if you're just trying to keep fish and keep them at a steady rate and steady growth, and you're not trying to grow them exponentially fast, 2 times a day or 1-time feedings are good, and you should feed them as much as they will eat in a couple minutes. Now, what that means is you feed them and then you see how much they're eating and how much they're spitting out. But now, third tip for goldfish and live bearers like guppies, they don't know when to stop sometimes, and it can cause them to become egg-bound or affect their swim bladder, specifically in goldfish. Now you have to feed them, you have to control their feeding because they don't stop themselves. While cichlids, I have noticed most of the time they will spit out extra food, and that just attributes to your ammonia levels and then nitrate levels. And then fourth tip is, what is your goal? Are you trying to raise for speed of growth, or are you just trying to keep fish, or are you trying to breed them? Because all those have different feeding methods. If you're trying to breed them, a lot of times you have to feed your fish high protein. While with some fish, like Mytropheus, they don't eat high protein, so you have to also know their diet. And that gets into the fifth tip, which is knowing your fish. You need to know your fish's diet and what they can eat. Most tropical fish can have tropical flakes and consist of some protein, some vegetarian diets, and then etc. Like Mytropheus, waru, and other fish mostly eat plant matter, while most other fish, I wouldn't say most, but a lot of other fish eat a lot of meatier protein foods, like discus eat a lot of proteins in order to grow fast and show the best colors, while that would cause bloat in Tropheus, for example. So you have to know your fish, do research on your fish to get to know what they need to eat for their best health. And also, if you're trying to breed them, you have to feed them sometimes and do water changes a lot more to coax them into breeding. While other fish, if you're just trying to keep them, you just have to do daily feedings like you would if you're eating yourself. You just feed yourself 3 times a day. You would give your fish 1 meal a day, and it's just a regular diet. You're not trying to accomplish anything. So I just wanted to show you guys and talk about it. Some different tips on how to take care of your fish. As many people don't know how to feed their fish and often feed their fish too much. And it can be quite confusing because some people tell you to feed more, some people tell you to feed less. Really, you just got to get a feel for your fish. Like you get with your dogs and cats and things like that, you start to learn how much they're going to eat and how much they're not going to eat. Because that leftover food in an aquarium, it builds up. It's not like it goes away. That aquarium food turns into ammonia, then nitrate levels, nitrite, then nitrite, and then you have to take it out and remove it, which can be tedious and tiring. It also has to deal with how many water changes you want to do. You can feed more and more throughout the day, like I was talking about, doing several feedings in smaller quantities to get the maximum growth. But to do that, you're going to have to change a lot of water, whether that's 20, 50% of the water a week or a day, whatever you're trying to accomplish, it depends on your fish. Now, most fish will be okay on 1-time feedings. Now, if I were to do that with my discus, then that are in this tank hiding, then you would be in trouble as they have a higher metabolism and would be getting starved. Now, with Mytropheus, as you can see here, they have algae to graze on, but I only feed them 1 time a day, so that's why I leave the algae for them so they can graze on it. And I also fast them, which is another important part of feeding is that you want to fast your fish at least 1 day a week. Let them clear out their systems. Let them get rid of all excess food, all excess proteins, fats, etc. throughout their system, and it's like a detox day, but for fish. They really need that in order for their digestive systems to be healthy. I recommend fasting. You will probably see better health in your fish. Now, if you're trying to raise fry and things like that, they need a lot higher feedings and more food constantly and every couple hours or so, depending on the type of fry you're raising. But thank you for listening, and I hope you enjoyed this and you learned something. Now, there is a lot of different type of fish and a lot of different types of foods, so it can be hard, but standard Tetra flakes, cobalt flakes, pretty good food for them, and you can feed them pellets as well. They're a lot less messy, but some fish don't take to it. So thank you for watching, and I hope you have a good day and have a good Easter if you celebrate it. This is me signing out. Peace.